What's going on, y'all? So listen.
What's going on, you guys? So we are back again for a whole new season of American Horror Story. Okay, AS. Wait, no, AH. No, wait, AS. No, wait, AHS. Bitch, girl, tongue twister. AHS. 1984. Okay, this is season 9, episode 1. You know, you guys, I've been looking forward to this because I am a huge fan of the campy 80s horror movies and stuff like that. 80s, early 90s horror movies. Okay. Um, because they followed the same formula. And I just wanted to see how they was going to do this. So I'm not taking this season too serious because if you seen, and especially after looking at this episode, if you have seen a lot of the 80 horror movies, you know, the Michael Myers, the Jason movies, and I'm talking about from the very beginning, you know, other movies like that along that line, you know how this is gonna work, okay? You know how this is gonna work. And so I do like the fact that they're pulling from real events that happened too. Okay. So, you know, the episode starts off. Now, if you know the formula of a horror story, especially these things like this, the episode is called Camp Redwood. That is the camp they're going to. Camp Redwood is the same thing as Camp Crystal Lake. If you've seen the Jason movies, everything took place at Camp Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake, we got a Crystal Lake out here in Chicago, Illinois too. So, girl. But anyway, this is where, you know, this horrible backstory that happened to the main character or whatever, you know, happens at the camp, and then they just seek their revenge later on and in their adult life on, you know, people that really didn't do anything to them at that moment, but, you know, just seeking revenge on the way that they were treated. And, you know, there's always that one, the characters that, you know, there's always going to be some sex scenes, there's always going to be some alcohol, there's going to be some drugs, okay, there's going to be that uptight person, there's going to be the virgin, okay, and the virgin is usually the one that, you know, ends the season, and, you know, it's going to be, it seems as if they're going to be, you know, the survivor, the sole survivor, okay, and it's a toss up whether or not that really will happen, okay, so we know the formula at this point, and they are sticking to it. So I'm looking at this season as if they're making a parody, okay? And trying to put a little scares in here and put a little gruesome stuff in there, being a little bit more gruesome than the you know, 1980s horror movies and what they did, you know, with the special effects that they had then compared to the special effects that we have now, because everything looks so bloody and gory and so real, you know what I'm saying? And so they also, like I said, putting in some real facts. I mean, yeah, some real events that happen. Okay. So when episode starts off, we have it's starting off in 1970, 14 years earlier. Okay. And basically what wind up happening is we're at Camp Redwood, you know, and we're in a cabin. I don't, what, okay, see, at the beginning, it looked like they were, you know, the counselors were in the cabin with the kids. You know, it's supposed to be a couple of counselors in the kids' cabin, you know, watching them. And then at the end, you know, at one particular scene when it was showing what happened to the people that was in the cabin, it looked like adults, okay, or at least teenagers that was there. Either way, it was a whole bunch of them up in the you know, cabin. And at this point, we see this little tent up, makeshift tent, okay, and you know, got the little curtains and all that stuff going on. I said, what is happening? I see bodies, and at first I'm looking, I said, is these two girls kissing or is these two boys? You can never tell back in the 70s and 60s because, you know, a lot of them had the long hair, the guys too, they had the long hair and all that stuff. Some of them was a little feminine looking or whatever, but you know, you can never tell. And then kind of find out, oh yeah, those two girls, and it's also Evan Peters, okay, you know, he throw his ass up in there, they about to have a threesome. All right, so you have one girl that's so willing to do this and can't wait and getting it in with Evan, and then you have the other girl that's just like, oh my god, I hear something, and at this point, they trying to tell her it's whatever. Nothing's going on. It's your imagination. Let's just get this in, okay? She looking at them, finna get it in. He kissed her. She still looking at them. They take their clothes off. She like, ooh, titties. Ooh, pecs. Ooh, penis. Okay, let me go ahead and take my stuff off. So she about to take her shirt off, and something comes in or whatever that distracts her view. Now, when she turns back to them, she moved the curtain, baby. The two counselors, they got a knife through the throat. They got a knife going through the head to out their mouth into the other person's mouth in the back of their head. I said, what in the? It reminded me of one of the episodes of Jason when Kevin Bacon was on there, okay, and he had just got through having sex with old girl, and oh boy, he had the spear. He had the spear come up underneath the bed and went straight through his throat. That's what it reminded me of. Okay, listen, I know these things. I love these movies. I watch them each and every time. But anyway, so that happens. She trying to run and get away from the person, and they wind up grabbing her and all this stuff and stabbing her through the eye. Next thing you know, we see him taking off her ear, okay, and he putting it on this thing. And I said, oh, so he's one of those type of people that once he makes a kill, he collects a part of them as a souvenir. I was like, all right, I see you a sick fuck, so we gonna roll with this, that's what you do. Okay, and then it goes to the future. I mean the present. We're at this aerobics class, okay? It's the 1980s. That's what it was about. Jane Fonda and her aerobics fitness and everything. And we get introduced to the main cast, okay? We see Javier. Is his name Javier? Xavier. We see Xavier, okay? And he's AKA my devil boo from last season, okay? He's still cute, you know what I'm saying? He still look like very much the 80s. They look so much like the 80s. I seen so many pictures of the 80s and all this stuff, and I seen how my people looked to you, my family used to look back then, and I'm like, y'all get this down to the T. I love it so far. The scenery, the cinematography, everything is giving me everything right now. And so, like I said, the aerobics craze was really big. Then you get Montana, played by Billy Lord. Okay, she's like that rad chick, okay? Listen to the language that I just said, rad. Oh my God, that's so fucking 80s. But anyway, she's like that very outgoing, type of girl. She encounters Brooke, who is the new girl in town. They're in LA. She's the new girl in town. She talking to her in the shower. She was like, girl, don't mind. I'm not a lesbian. I just want to, I'm just really friendly. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? She telling her that she's this aerobics person. She's very big into that. She, had the aerobics competition. She want to be the best aerobics person in the world and all that stuff. And, and that was true. Go on YouTube and Google aerobics championship 1980 something whatever 1980s aerobic championships and stuff like that, or aerobics Olympics. They will pop up. I was watching one because somebody posted it on my Twitter, and I said, girl, are you serious? They was dead serious, okay? But yeah, you got her. And now while they was in the back to the class, you got this other big meatball buff dude, Chet. Okay, and he just, feeling on himself, trying to tease Brooke the virgin. She don't know what to do with that. She knows she was aroused a little bit, but she said, Satan, get behind thee, And then you get the black boy, the token black, okay? Ray, coming from Dear White People. I said, oh, okay, I forgot you was supposed to be up in here. And then you get, did I say everybody? It was Chet, Brooke, Xavier, Chet, Brooke, Xavier, Montana. And they're all sitting there talking or whatever after the class. They telling each other how they met. Chet and Ray, they met working out. Montana and Javier. Montana and Xavier. I don't know why I want to call him Javier so much. It's Xavier, okay? And Xavier, they met because he was on his way to an audition to be on the last episode of MASH. And if you don't know what MASH is, go Google it, okay? That was the show. My mom used to watch that shit all the time. Like, God damn. Like, damn. They in the army and all this stuff. That one character that always tried to dress up like a woman or whatever, do all these other tricks or whatever just to get out. But it never worked, okay? But, she rear-ended him or whatever. They got into a car accident, and then they wind up dating. That's what wind up happening with them, okay? And so he brings up Xavier. He brings up the fact that, oh, it's some stuff that's going to be happening in LA right now. They're doing the 1984 Olympics, okay? And that was a real thing. In the LA, it's going to be crowded, congested. We need to get out. Plus, let me tell you something. Listen, it was a murder a couple of nights ago. You ain't hear about it? They think the person, they call him the Night Stalker. And, they think he the one that's been doing all these string of murders that been going on around LA this whole time. Girl, y'all know the Night Stalker is a real person. Richard Ramirez, okay? Look him up if you don't know. Nigga was crazy, okay? And his metamorphosis, because he was a drug addict and everything, he was on that stuff bad, all right? And when I say he was crazy, okay? That nigga was scary. So he was like, I got this job at a camp for the next couple of months, because I'm not finna stay out here. I'm not finna get risk getting taken and killed or whatever. Y'all should sign up too. That's what y'all should do. Now, at first, Brooke wasn't with it, okay? And so she go home. She looking at her jewelry box. It looked like she had an old engagement ring from somebody or whatever. And next thing you know, somebody busts into her house and attacking her. Why it's the Night Stalker, okay? He like, give me all your jewelry. Give me all your stuff. This it. Then you hear a neighbor like, what's going on in there? What's going on in there? Scared him off and said, bitch, I'll be back. I said, we starting this off like this already? And so this is what gets her to change her mind to go to the camp site with them, because now she feels as though, since she was almost a victim of him, this Night Stalker, she's more safe being around people that she's getting to know and being at a camp where kids is going to be at. Anytime where you put kids in a situation, you always think that, oh, ain't nobody gonna be silly enough to do nothing with no kids there unless they really out their minds. You know what I'm saying? And so she like, let me go with these people. They get there. While they're in the midst of driving there, at one point they pull over. This was also a scene that was in one of the Jason movies, where they pulled over, and it was this guy, this crazy guy in the town that kept on telling him, you need to turn back around because he's gonna come and get you, okay? So this time in this show, it was the mechanic. He was washing the windows. He heard that they was going to Camp Redwood. Wait a minute, they opened up Camp Redwood. Y'all need to turn y'all asses back around, or else y'all gonna die. Y'all ain't gonna make it, okay? They was like, boy, whatever, mind your business. Mind you, Javier, Xavier is on the phone, and he's listening to his messages at home, and it's talking about something, you ain't gonna get away just because you out of town or whatever, from doing something with a dick or whatever. I was like, what is going on? I said, what you Xavier, what are you into? Xavier looked like he goes both ways, okay? That's what he looked like. But like, he's perfectly coiffed yet again, okay? Yet again, highlights everything. Them glasses, like, his look was everything to me, okay? Y'all know that's my little boo. He gonna be my boo forever, okay? But they get to the camp. As they were going to the camp, they hit a hitchhiker, okay? And one of them notices, well, Xavier, I'm gonna get his name right for real. Xavier notices that because he's so much about, I didn't hit him, let's get our stories together, we didn't hit him. He's so much about that, but he do notices that he got dried up blood on him, dried up marks, and old wounds and stuff on him that he possibly could not have gotten from them, and from being hit. But they get him in the van. He wakes up, and before they get him in the van, he was like, I'm sorry, I did all I could, or whatever, or something like that. And they was like, what the heck? They get him in the van after he passes out. They get to the camp, and we get introduced to Nurse Candy, aka Miss Rita. Rita. Nurse Rita. And she's played by Angelica Ross, aka Candy. And so at this point, she's checking him out. She said he's just a little bit dehydrated. He'll be all right. She works at a hospital during a regular time or whatever. And then we get introduced to the camp counselor who opened up the camp again. Camp Margaret Booth. Okay, she opened up the camp, and she's a Bible thumper. She's all about Christianness, no drinking, no smoking, no sex, no this. We have to be holy, we have to be clean, we have to be graceful, we have to be all of this stuff. She's giving them the tour, telling them what they need to do, about the co-eds. It's the men camp, the boys side, the girls side, the boys campers, the girls campers, and all that stuff, showers and all that. Wow. Okay. So later, they sitting around. I'm gonna speed it up. They sitting around the little campfire after they getting to know everything, and they started talking about what's been going on and how come this is late at night, right? This is later that night. It's dark. Now, see, let me tell you something. I always wanted to go to a away camp like this, but baby, I just know no, okay? Because I'm not gonna stand out. Like, I don't sit outside in the dark in my own house, okay? In my own block in the city. I'm not gonna go to the woods and sit outside. And then you saw how they was sitting there, and Nurse Rita was just sitting there picking all that shit off her leg. Like, girl, they was tearing her legs up. They was tearing her legs up. And she don't do incest like that, okay? I can't handle these city bugs, bitch. Okay, these city insects, they gangster. Imagine how they cousins is out there in the woods. Times 10. Bitch, no, okay? And then you about water and shit. Ain't nobody got time for that. But anyway, they get to talking and Ray out there drinking and stuff. And then all of a sudden we get into this whole thing about what happened. We get introduced to the chef, okay? She used to work there back when it first opened. And, when she found out that Margaret was reopening, she was the first one to volunteer. Margaret put out there that they was going to be the only ones that's there because it's a shortage because of the Olympics. Okay, cool, for the staff. And so while they out there, um, having a discussion, talking about what was going on, Nurse Rita started saying how you ever make it. It was like this little massacre thing really did happen, and it was like the worst massacre, camp massacre in history. Okay, it really did happen, and you ever wonder how come people were able to get this job? Y'all was able to get this job. Y'all didn't have to qualify for nothing. They didn't look at our background or whatever because anybody else, they just said, no, girl, we ain't finna do this. We ain't finna risk our life for this stuff like that. No, girl. And so she was like, basically, what happened is it was this guy named Benjamin Richter, okay, and Richter, and they called him Mr. Jingles. He was down there in Saigon, Vietnam. He likes to kill people and all that stuff, and take a piece of their ear as souvenirs, wear it as necklaces and stuff like that. And so, the army found out what he was doing and found out that he wasn't doing stuff right, and so they dishonorably discharged him. So he come back. He's a vet. He couldn't get no job or whatever, and the only place that he can get a job at was at the camp. So he doing what he doing, but next thing you know, he just snapped, and then he just killed like 10 people. And then here come Margaret. No, if you're gonna tell the story, tell it right. It wasn't 10 people. It was 9 because one survived. And then they was like, "Bitch, how you know?" Because they thinking that it's a false story. She pulled her hair back and her ear is missing. She was the lone survivor, okay? And she giving her story, her version of the story, how, when it all happened, she's looking up and she sees this light, which was a lamp, and she's going to it, and it's like, this is the Lord speaking to me. And then she had this awakening in herself that she knew, she wasn't gonna die then. So when he came over her, he was looking dead at her, but she made it seem like she was dead. And when he cut her ear off, she said, "Baby, I didn't scream, I didn't flinch, I didn't do nothing." Okay. And so now we see basically that he's going to be coming back. The reason why he's coming back is because that girl is still alive. All right. And then, after this, we get introduced. We get introduced to Trevor, aka Mr. Schuster. From Glee, aka if you look at Grey's Anatomy, Joe's abusive husband. Okay, yes. Broadway dude. Okay, he there, Trevor. He used to be in Jane Fonda's video, baby. He got a package on him. I said, if y'all don't get that dildo out of his pocket, get it out. Okay, him and Montana, they up there flirting with each other in the waters. He going down on her in the lake and all that stuff. I said, ooh, parasites and bacteria is all up in your mouth and all up in your cooch. But okay. And she notices it's a car out there, just with the headlights on. Then the headlights go off. So then it started raining. They looking at the Olympics and Chad getting in his feelings because he couldn't qualify because he on roids, okay, steroids. You know what I'm saying? And Brooke was trying to lighten the mood and talking about the ratio between women and men that's at the Olympics and the athletes. And Chet getting his feelings, kind of cursed her out a little bit. Ray trying to come to her defense. Chet throws one of the cans at him. And I said, how the hell did that cans cut him so deep like that? I said, if y'all don't get out of here with that. So, you know, Brooke and Ray go try to find some Band-Aids because Nurse Rita said, listen, I'm off the clock right about now and I'm only here for the kids at this moment. Okay, so until then, you know where the Band-Aids are and you know where the iodine, go and get you some. Okay, there you go. So they going over there, and she was also going over there to look at the hitchhiker. Earlier, he had woke up. He was trying to figure out where he was, and she was trying to lay him back down. And then when she said, you at Camp Redwood, he was like, y'all need to get the hell up out of here because some bad things is about to happen. Mind you, he looked in the mirror, and he moved his ear. Bitch, his ear was gone too. I said, oh, no. Oh, no. Okay? And so at this point, we trying to figure out what's going to happen. Okay? We see when Brooke went to go get some Band-Aids or whatever, she looking around, she noticed that the hitchhiker, he gone, okay? And then she opened up one door, she goes in there getting the stuff, and then she turns around and the door creaks closed, and he's hanging up on the damn door, dead, throat slashed and all that stuff. And we see Mr. Jingles. He's standing outside, baby, just looking. Now, they gave a little backstory, and this was mimicking the Michael Myers Halloween when all the patients in the loony bin, or I don't want to say loony bin, in the psych ward got loose, okay? Because he let them loose and that was his way to escape. You know what I'm saying? Go back and look if you haven't watched, okay? And so he basically did the same thing. They did it 3 hours earlier. He was there faking like he hung himself. Let me tell you something. Mr. Jingles got a thick neck, okay? That nigga got a strong neck. That orderly, you have to be nice to people because you just don't never know. They can just snap and they probably will spare you because you was nice. You know what I'm saying? But dude came to the door being rude, calling him all types of names and stuff like that. And he wound up getting killed. I really didn't feel nothing for him. It is what it is. Okay? And so he got out using his keys and stuff and opening up the things and all that stuff. He went over there, killed the mechanic while he was working on the car, let that car crush him. I said, ain't that about a bitch? He get to the camp, he's running at the brook and all this stuff. She come back like, oh my God, Mr. Jingles is out there. He's out there. And he killed this person. He killed that person. So, girl, they go looking and see where the hitchhiker at. Baby, the body is gone. The body is gone. I said, what did y'all expect? I said, it's too early. It's too early. Mind you, I ain't like the fact that they had the black woman to go up there and to look behind the door. I said, none of you men couldn't do that? You men couldn't do that? I said, get up out of here. So, back at the psych ward, because this is where they put him after they charged him because they found Mr. Jingle. He got arrested for the massacre, and this is where he was state mandate. They didn't put him in jail. They put him in a psych ward that's like heavily jail, like a jail psych ward, whatever. And so at this point, after all of that, the director of the facility, she came in at a doctor or whatever, and she went up into his room and found this newspaper clipping, and it was talking about how Camp Redwood was reopened, and then it had this face circle, so it was Margaret's face that was circled in red, and that's how you figured out that he's going back to get her because that was his lone survivor, and you know how they are or whatever. And so at the end of the episode, after all of this, Margaret pops up again. Brooke sleep. She hears something, and she's going over there talking to Montana because what she hears is the payphone ringing, and it just kept ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. Montana don't give a fuck. Imagine Montana woke up with a knife in her hand. She said, "Girl, I just gotta stay prepared." I said, "I understand that, child. I understand that." Baby, Brooke go out there to the payphone, and when she finally answered the payphone, you hear this like breathing or whatever. Next thing you know, why the Night Stalker then found her? I said, is this a dream? Is this a dream? Don't let me find out that this whole thing is a premonition or like a little dream sequence with Brooke ass, okay? Girl, Richard had his night stalking ass standing right there. I said, I looked up and I said, wait a minute now. See, that's the only part that made me jump a little bit. I said, hold up, because I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. This looks like it's going to be cute. We have to remember not to take it so serious, okay? Just enjoy it, have fun with it or whatever, and we'll see how this season goes. So far, I'm liking it, okay? I'm liking it. It's cute enough for me to keep my attention. I gave y'all a thorough review. You guys tell me what you think, and I will see you guys later. Peace.